Our van needs a new engine. We thought we'd be sharing the first steps of building out our van. Instead, we got the news that our van's engine needs to be rebuilt. In this video, we'll be sharing our experience with the recent purchase of a 2012 Mercedes Sprinter van that needs a new engine. I'm Kimberly.
I'm Corey. Welcome to our channel. Are you considering purchasing a Sprinter van for your next adventure on the road? Maybe you found a great deal on a used one, but there is a catch. It needs an engine rebuild. Well, in this video we're going to share our experience with buying a Sprinter van that needs an engine rebuild, including what can cause an engine to fail, the options, benefits, and the cost. We'll explore what this means, how it happened, and what our next steps are. So let's get started. Trust us, you don't want to miss out on any of the van life tips or DIYs for van conversions, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get alerts from when we drop a new video.
First, let's talk about our situation. We were in the process of purchasing a 2012 Mercedes Sprinter van that we plan to convert into our dream van for life on the road. However, during the initial inspection, we discovered that the engine had metal shavings, and the mechanic recommended that we do an engine rebuild. You heard that right. They were changing the oil and they found metal shavings. We had found a van in our price range that was almost exactly what we were looking for to convert into a camper van. Like I said, it was a 2012 Mercedes Sprinter 170 extended van that we planned to convert and take it on the road with us. It had high mileage. However, these are 1 million mile vans, right? The van had some cosmetic issues, but it appeared to be in good shape otherwise, so we put a deposit down to hold it. Unfortunately, during the initial inspection, we discovered that the mechanic recommended an engine rebuild. It was definitely a surprise to find out that the engine needed to be rebuilt. We knew that we would need to make some repairs and upgrades, but we weren't expecting this.
With no experience on engine rebuilds, we started our research. What are some of the factors can cause a Sprinter van engine to require a rebuild? Overheating, one of the most common causes of engine damage, is overheating. This can occur when the engine is running for an extended period of time or when the coolant system fails to keep the engine at a safe operating temperature. Lack of maintenance. Regular maintenance such as oil changes and filter replacements is essential to keep an engine running smoothly. Neglecting routine maintenance can lead to a buildup of dirt, debris, and contaminants in the engine, which can cause damage over time. Oil leaks. Oil leaks can cause the engine to run low on oil, which can lead to damage to the engine's internal components. Wear and tear. Over time, the engine's components can wear out, leading to reduced performance and eventually engine failure. Improper use. Using the engine in a manner that exceeds its intended capacity, such as carrying excessive weight, can put extra strain on the engine, leading to damage. Metal shavings. Metal shavings in the engine oil can indicate excessive wear or damage to internal components such as bearings, pistons, or crankshafts. This can cause further damage and eventually lead to a complete engine failure. Several factors can cause a Sprinter van engine to require a rebuild. It's essential to address any issues promptly to prevent further damage and ensure that its van's longevity.
What was the cause of our engine problem? Metal shavings. Like I said, they were performing a routine oil change and discovered metal shavings in the oil. What metal shavings are and how do they affect the engine? Metal shavings are tiny bits of metal that come off engines' moving parts over time. They can be caused by wear and tear as well as poor maintenance. When metal shavings get into the engine oil, they can cause damage to the engine and reduce its performance. It's definitely serious. How did the metal shavings get into our engine's oil? It's hard to say for sure, but there are a few possibilities. One is that the previous owner did not change the oil frequently enough, which allowed the metal shavings to accumulate. Another possibility is that there was a problem with the engine itself, such as worn out bearings, which can cause metal shavings to be produced. We really don't know and probably never will. The options for someone purchasing a used vehicle that needs major engine work, like us. If a person is purchasing a used vehicle that needs major engine work, there are several options available depending on your budget and preferences. Rebuilding the engine is the most cost-effective option, especially if the vehicle is rare or it has sentimental value. Ours wasn't really that sentimental, but it is unique to find a 170 extended van. It involves, engine rebuild involves taking the engine apart, replacing the damaged or worn out parts, and putting it back together again. It can be time consuming, challenging, but it can save a significant amount of money in the long run.
Another option is to replace the engine with a new or used one. This is more expensive than rebuilding the engine, but it can be a faster and more straightforward option. However, it's essential to ensure that the replacement engine is compatible with the vehicle and in good condition. If the cost of repairing the engine is too high, the buyer can choose to sell the vehicle as is. This option may not get the best return on investment, but it can be the easiest and quickest option. You can try to negotiate a lower price if the buyer wants to purchase the vehicle but does not want to take on the cost of repairing the engine. They can try negotiating a lower price with the seller. This can help offset the cost of repairs and make the purchase more manageable. Ultimately, the choice depends on the buyer's budget, time, and preferences. It's essential to weigh the pros and cons of each option carefully and make an informed decision.
What were our options? Once we found out that the engine needed to be rebuilt, we could have passed on that vehicle and chosen to keep looking around to find a vehicle that was something that was in our budget and that obviously didn't need a new engine. They offered to have the engine rebuilt, and we could choose to go with that. We could purchase an engine on our own, and they would have installed that. So those were our options. We decided to allow their mechanic to rebuild the engine because it would be more cost effective, and we wanted to keep the original engine if possible. The time it takes to rebuild an engine can vary depending on the extent of the damage, but an engine rebuild can take anywhere from a few days to several weeks. The process again involves disassembling the engine, cleaning all the parts, replacing any damaged or worn out parts with new ones. Once everything is back together, the engine is tested to make sure it's running properly. It's a lot of work, it isn't cheap, and an engine rebuild can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, depending on the extent of the damage and the parts that are needed. Is it worth it? Absolutely. The Mercedes Sprinter is a reliable and durable van that's perfect for life on the road. Plus, by rebuilding the engine, we can extend the life of our van and keep it in good condition for years to come.
We're curious to know, has anyone else found a major issue with a van they purchased? What did you do? Make sure you share in the comments below.
When purchasing a vehicle with a rebuilt engine, there's several concerns that you should be aware of to ensure that you make a sound investment. The quality of the rebuild can vary significantly depending on the mechanic, which we found out as well, or shop that's performing the work. It's essential to ask for details about the rebuild, such as which parts were replaced and what work was done. Additionally, you can ask for receipts and documentation, which can provide you peace of mind. Some shops offer warranties for the engine rebuilds, which can provide added protection for buyers. It's crucial to understand the details of the warranty, such as the length of coverage and what is covered before making the purchase. A rebuilt engine may require additional maintenance or special care to keep it running smoothly. It's important to understand what maintenance is required and factor those costs into the overall vehicle.
A vehicle with a rebuilt engine may have a lower resale value than one with an original engine. It's important to consider the long-term resale value of the vehicle before making a purchase. While a rebuilt engine may run like new, it's important to understand that it may not perform at the same level as an original engine. Buyers should test drive the vehicle and ask for the vehicle's history to understand how the rebuilt engine has performed over time. In summary, You should be diligent in researching and understanding the details of the engine rebuild before making a purchase. By considering factors such as quality of the rebuild, warranty, maintenance, resale value, and performance, you can make an informed decision and ensure they are getting the best value for their investment. Our advice for those who are considering purchasing a used van: always have a thorough inspection done by a qualified mechanic before you make a purchase. It's also a good idea to do your research on specific make and model of the van you're interested in, so you know what to look for. You have to stay tuned to hear what happened next.
For even more tips and tricks for your camper van conversion build, follow us on Instagram. If you think this video can help other van lifers, hit that like button and subscribe. Boop.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for watching.